Hey friends, welcome back to Black Queer Unapologetic. I'm JoJo, and today we've got a special guest in the building. That's my friend Fernando. And as promised for the month of February, we're diving headfirst into all things love, dating apps, and relationships. So let's go ahead and get started.
Hey, black, queer, unapologetic. Black, queer, unapologetic. I know who I am, now you know what I'm about. I say the thoughts in my head out loud. Let's get into it, let's pick up the flow though. Brought to you by the one they call JoJo. Black, queer, unapologetic. Black, queer, unapologetic. Let's go.
Hey Fernando.
Hi, Jojo. How are you?
I'm great. I'm
You
gonna.
look great.
I always look great.
Oh, that's the truth. Thank
Oh my god.
you. What?
So, sweetie, we're gonna be talking about being single and dating apps.
Right.
Yeah, we're just gonna see how this conversation goes.
Well, I have so much to read about.
Okay. Well, I've been single for 7 years. Well, almost 8.
Oh my gosh.
And
I'm single for maybe like 10, 11 years, something like that.
How's
I
that going?
stopped counting a long time ago. A long ass time ago.
I can't stop counting for some reason.
Oh, well.
I don't know why.
Oh, well. That's a choice.
Yeah, it is a choice. I mean, I don't like dwell on it, but I'm aware of it.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of hard to not be aware of it, but
I guess I just started I just forgot about it. It's like this is my life, so it's what it is.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so like, are you dating now at all?
Nope.
No.
I am not dating. I'm not dating. It's not because I'm not wanting to date. It's just that it's really hard to find men to date, basically.
Yeah, like good men.
Like good men. I feel like the community is super small, and there's only like certain places that I feel comfortable going to and seeing if there's men out there.
Yeah.
There's not that many places that I feel comfortable going to and like not like I guess guessing
Whether somebody's gay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that makes it hard.
Yeah. I feel like I don't even guess anymore. Like I don't even try. Like I just go to wherever, and then if I'm interested, like I'll engage, but I won't like overly flirt. You know what I mean? Just to see, because I feel like people will drop hints if they are interested, regardless. But then there's other times where I'm just like, I don't even want to be bothered. Don't talk to me. Don't touch me. That kind of thing.
Yeah.
Which is kind of where I'm at right now.
Yeah. I think my issue is that I also forget that I'm interested in dating when I go out. Most of the time when I go out with my friends. And I'm there to hang out with them and have a good time. And, you know, I don't think about introducing myself to men, you know, because I'm just too caught up in the moment of hanging out with the people that I'm there with. So that might be my personal issue of why I've been like.
I don't even think that's a personal issue. Honestly, like I think one of the things that really that I've noticed is that a lot of people when they go out, it's like to hunt. So a lot of people are like always hunting for somebody to like go hook up with, go date, go find somebody. Yeah. And for me, I'm like, like you said, like when I go out, like I'm going out to hang out with my friends. If I meet somebody, that's great. Yeah. But I'm not always going out like to hunt, and I hate that because it feels like, honestly, like it feels kind of thirsty, to be real.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I like to spend time with my friends. Like, but if I meet somebody in the process, that's great, you know. I just like that's not my main concern, is to go like out in order to meet somebody. I'm like going out to have a good time regardless whether I meet somebody or not.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting that you said thirsty because there, I have had like issues where I'm too aggressive, maybe, or too available, or
Oh, I've seen it.
or too interested,
Yeah.
where it comes off like I'm really thirsty.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, I'm just showing that I'm interested.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like this like line, this fine line where, you know, I don't know like what's too much or what's not enough, or like,
Yeah.
you know, like where I want to show that I'm interested
But not thirsty.
but not thirsty, you know? So like it's also that like that, I don't know, weirdness where people have different points of view of what is thirsty and what isn't.
Yeah. I mean, I get called aggressive all the time.
Yeah.
But I don't know how I feel about that though, like being black and being called aggressive because I'm direct. Like if I want to hook up with you, like I'm it's like closed mouths don't get fed.
Yeah.
Like so if I'm interested, like I'm gonna tell you that I'm interested, and if you don't like it or whatever, then that's fine. At least I can just move on and go to the next person. I'm not wasting my time. I'm actually saving my time, which I can appreciate. But I get called aggressive all the time, just like from telling people that I'm interested, or like, oh, I, want to blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But I mean, it used to get on my skin. Now I don't really think anything of it. I'm just like, okay, like you ain't the one.
True. Yeah. I mean, why waste your time on people that are over analyzing
my personality?
Yeah. Or how you present yourself. Yeah. You know, I hope that it would be like easy, where, when you do meet someone and you're both like interested, there's no questions. You know, it's just like, oh, we met, we're interested, you don't annoy me, let's hang out, let's try this out.
Yeah.
But I think like now it feels very complicated, where it's like, oh, I want to know everything about you before we go on a date.
Up front.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's like,
what's your Instagram?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, well, isn't it the whole point is to like go on a date and, like talk about each other and get to know each other in that way? Right. And then figure out if we're compatible?
Yeah. No, I agree with you. I that shit, like a lot of people, they ask for the Instagram because they want to like snoop on your pictures and see who you know and how many mutuals do we know and who you might have slept with and all that shit. And like, wow, like all of that stuff is really just kind of blocking you. I don't ask for Instagrams. Yeah. I will give mine, but I don't ask for mine. Or I'm sorry, ask for others.
It might also be like a generational thing where
I feel like it didn't used to be like that though. Even like I mean, I'm gonna say ages, but
I'll say I'm gonna be 39.
Mm-hmm. Birthday girl coming up.
Birthday girl.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm not. Yeah, I'm not ashamed of how old I am or embarrassed or anything like that.
But I feel like when Instagram came out, it still was like, let me get your number. Like I used to get numbers, not Instagrams, because like I'm up here sliding in DMs, like you ain't checking your DMs now. At least, and people, they I've heard things like that people have said about phone numbers are too personal, which they can be.
Yeah, I heard that too.
But I don't believe that though, because you can block a phone number. I could block you on Instagram, but I could still make a fake Instagram and creep on you. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, okay, like what the fuck? Like I don't get how. And because the Instagram, like you're sharing your whole life. If I give you my number, you just have my number. You can't go.
Yeah, you can't snoop.
Right. What you snooping on? Like you can't snoop on nothing. I mean, well, unless you're me, but we're not gonna talk about that. But like a phone number, I feel like is not as personal when you don't know somebody yet. Like you don't need to go look at all their pictures and see who all their friends are and who they hang out with and what they do for fun and all that other shit. Like I feel like you shouldn't. start to learn those things naturally from the person, directly from the person.
Yeah.
Not just, I'm going to take a shortcut and go, like snoop on their shit and their friend's shit. And then if they know somebody that I know, then like ask somebody about them instead of talking to them.
Yeah.
It's stupid.
Because from like Instagram, you can totally build this narrative of what this person is without even like having an actual conversation with this person.
Yeah.
And then your mind just starts like creating these stories about this person before you even like meet them, you know?
It's
maybe old school of whatever.
I guess.
Whatever you want to call it. But I would rather have a conversation with someone.
Yeah.
Or seem thirsty.
I don't mind the thirsty.
Whatever.
Like, you've heard that quote, like, you're never too much for the right person or some shit like that. Yeah. So it's like, okay, somebody will be able to like deal with it. Granted, like there's a certain level, like too much that could be potentially toxic, but I think within reason, being direct, being upfront about you're being interested in all that shit, like that's not too much.
Being honest is like a really, for me at least, a really great way to start a relationship with anyone. Especially if it is going to be a romantic relationship.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can, if you hide things, I always find that it's going to come out eventually. So why just not be honest from the get-go, even if it's with your feelings?
Right.
And it might sound too much at the time, because we're all in different time frames.
Okay, speaking of time frames, because your birthday's coming up.
Oh yes, I'm a birthday girl.
So is she getting birthday dick?
Here's hoping. Bitch.
I feel like you deserve it.
Well, don't we all deserve it?
Yeah. Well, some people. Some people.
We all need some loving.
Yeah.
Yeah. We all need some loving.
A little prescription.
Here's hoping.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like I think at this point in my life, I'm just like, sex is not a thing that I think about that often.
Okay.
That doesn't mean that I'm not horny.
Okay.
Yeah, that doesn't mean that I'm not horny. But it's not my number one like thing about dating or anything like that. I like meeting men.
Okay.
I feel like I'm at a stage of my life where I am more concerned about having like a real connection.
Yeah.
And not this like one-off thing or like getting dick down.
Okay. I mean, I can appreciate that. I think I'm somewhere similar because I have been single for so long. I recognize connections for what they are and don't try to turn them into something else. So I recognize when this is just a hookup. I recognize when we're just going to be friends.
Yeah.
I take rejection for what it is. If I'm dating somebody and it doesn't work out, I just take it for what it is. And I don't dwell on it anymore, which I think is like a healthy place to be, because then you can kind of have the best of all different worlds, like where it's like, okay, I have my hookups, I have my dates, I have my friends, and I don't have to mix them or cause confusion in all those different things. So I feel like that's like a blessing and a curse, because it came from a place of me having been single for so long that I'm like, I had to recognize what was what.
Yeah. I mean, it is a blessing and it is a curse.
Yeah. Everybody wants a little companionship,
Yeah, everybody wants some love.
Yeah.
And we all deserve it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I would argue some people don't.
Well, we stay away from those people.
Them fucking haters.
Haters gonna hate.
Well, players gonna play. Ballers are gonna ball.
That.
Yeah.
No, yeah, back to the early 20s.
Second,
2000.
your promises, promises.
Yes. Who sings that song?
It's 3LW.
Oh, 3LW.
Yeah,
That's
it's
right.
like Keely Williams, and everybody
Yeah.
used to like give her shit about her lisp.
Oh my God, stop. Don't bring that up.
Promises, promises.
Oh my God, you're killing me.
I love that song.
I do love that song too. Little girl. Mm.
Are you on any dating apps right now?
No.
Why? I guess I'm like asking why, but I'm also not at the moment either.
I'm not. I just like find them so exhausting.
Yeah.
And I don't have, like I said, I would rather have a conversation with someone in real life, like in person.
Yeah.
Because whenever I'm on dating apps, it's all like this, the same conversation. They like we all talk about the same fucking shit. It's the same like opening sentence. It's the same boring ass fucking thing, and like it's so distant. Like it just feels like vanilla, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm just like, and I get bored really fucking easily. So
I'm aware.
I'm just like, oh, not this shit again. So no, I try to stay away from them. Once in a while, you know, we all get a little desperate or a little lonely or whatever you want to fucking call it, and you know, download that app again and then go on there. But it just reminds me of like why I deleted the app in the first place.
Yeah.
So then I delete it again, you know, and go on with my day. Yeah. So no.
I don't have any right now either. Mostly because I'm not good at taking pictures, so I don't take a lot of pictures, so I can't update my profile, so I just delete them. I'm like, oh, well, I'm not really dating anybody right now anyway,
Yeah.
so I'll just get rid of it and like take everything down. So like it'll either just be a blank thing, or I'll just delete the whole account. Yeah, but I feel you on the opening sentences. Like it's always, hey, what's up, into, or it's like or they start a phony ass conversation and then it goes immediately to hook up.
Yeah.
So then it's like, okay, well, that's just what it's gonna be. I mean, because the reality is like you ain't the only person they sent that message to. So there's like all the app competition and the in-person competition. I do like meeting people in person because it's a total vibe check.
Yeah.
You don't have to go talk to somebody for days or weeks on an app and then meet them in person and see if you guys click. You can meet them and see if you're even interested first. You might not like click immediately on that level, but at least you can see if you're interested.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, there's also like this special thing of like meeting someone in person and like feeling their vibe and like that connection. And then there's no like there's no like you can tell when there's like a pause in the conversation when you're on the dating apps. And it seems like, oh, what should I say next? What's like the perfect like respond for this? And in person, it's just like you're just going back and forth,
right?
You know, and then like, and you can tell right away if you are like gonna vibe with this person or not. You know, there's no, I guess there's no like, safety net to rely on.
Yeah.
Be like, oh, I walked away from my phone or whatever fucking excuse.
Yeah.
You know. So
I think that's kind of similar to the whole like asking for the Instagram thing where people are afraid to put themselves all the way out there because it's like, what if they're not cute in person? What if we don't get along? Or what if this person, like the next best thing syndrome, where like, what if this person is better than this person? So I should give my attention to this other person instead.
Yeah.
And I did an episode on rejection.
Okay.
And I think that there's two things. People are afraid to receive rejection, so they don't confront it, which I might be a little too confrontational, but whatever. And then there are people who are afraid to give the rejection, where it's like, okay, you're just kind of stringing somebody along and wasting somebody's time when you can just tell them like, hey, like, and you don't have to be rude or mean or anything about it, but you just like say like, I'm not interested.
Yeah.
Which that happened to me recently. And I'm just like, okay, well, whatever. We don't have to fake it. I would prefer not to fake it, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I can respect that. Like, I don't have to like it, but I can respect it.
Yeah. I mean, I can't fake it. If we're like in person talking, it's all over my face. It's a problem that I have that I can't fake it
Yeah.
on my face.
You said you get bored easily.
I do get bored.
You need somebody with a lot of energy.
Well, it's not necessarily just like I think just someone that like can relate or is on the same like can see me as who I am and not like want more from me or think like, oh, this person could be someone that eventually is someone that I like or whatever. You know, it's like I don't know, girl.
It's hard to think about sometimes.
And it's because everyone is just so different, you know, and the conversations can spread like I'm always gonna go back to the in person because conversations are so different in person than online.
Every person that I've met in real life initially it may not have worked out, but it went a lot better than people that I've met on apps, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think, I mean, I would love to continue with that, but I think also people are so used to being behind a screen these days, though, that when somebody does approach you, they don't know what to do.
Yeah.
It's like, oh shit, what? Like, oh shit, you talking to me? Like, oh, like, and you panic and you don't know what to say, and or you retreat to a group of friends or whatever. Like, damn, ain't nobody got you got swag behind the screen, but I'm like, bitch, you don't know what to say.
Right.
You don't know how to have a conversation.
And I mean, and that's another like point that is really important is that like when you do ask someone to meet, most of the time they say no. For some reason, people are too scared or they doubt themselves or whatever the reason is, it leads to no most of the time.
I've never had people say like flat out no. I've gotten no response.
Well, I mean, would you rather? I mean, it's the same fucking thing,
Yeah,
right? No
yeah.
response, no.
I mean,
Like,
no
yeah,
response is a response.
yeah,
But
exactly.
like you're getting like flat, like you would get flat out no. Like,
Yeah, they're like no, and then they come up with an excuse.
what's the excuse?
Like, oh, I can't. I'm too busy.
Then what the fuck you on the app for?
I don't know, girl.
What
I can't answer for them.
Oh my god.
Why do you think I don't use them? It's because it's like a waste of my time. Like I am there for a reason. And what's the reason?
Yeah.
Is to go on a date, to go and like put myself out there.
Right.
And I think some people are just like they might be there for attention.
Yeah, no, bitch.
Seeking for as many people that they can get response from.
Bitch.
Some kind of validation.
Yes.
I mean, we all want validation, right?
No.
I mean,
no.
I'm not gonna lie, like it's nice to have validation from like people, but like to just go on apps to just have that like count of like, oh, I got all these people trying to connect with me.
It's an ego boost.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, I get on it when I do to put myself out there and meet someone.
Same.
Yeah.
Same. I mean, you brought up a good point though. We live in this era of attention. Everybody's so used to getting their ego inflated. It's all about the likes and the responses. Somebody told me the other day, he might actually end up listening to this, so whatever, fuck it.
Hey, girl.
I'm not gonna say his name.
I hope you're listening.
But he sent me, like, I mean, we've hung out and stuff like that, whatever, and he's been like interested, and I've been interested too, but we always get into these ridiculous disagreements about nothing. And like the last one, he sent me this picture of him and his ass, and he has like, nice body, like beautiful ass, whatever. But because I didn't pump his ego up with my response, he unsent the picture, and I was like, oh, like, why'd you unsend it? He was like, you and your, I forgot what the word he's like mediocre responses or some shit like that. Like he expected me to go over the moon because of his ass picture or some shit like that. And because I didn't, he unsent the picture and got an attitude about it. And I'm like, I don't know if you fucking play with me or if you serious. And I was like, seriously? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, okay. Like, I ain't got shit else to say. I'm like, if you want to take your little ass picture back, then take it back. like, I'm like, this is why, this is why are we fighting over stupid shit? It's fucking dumb. If I send somebody a picture and they respond to it at all, that's enough. Like, I don't need you to say specific things to make me feel better about myself. And on top of that, ain't nobody making no effort to hang out or anything like that. It's like, okay, like you're sending pictures for attention, you're posting pictures for attention, whatever. And people do what they do, and it is what it is. And it ain't no fucking shame in it or shade at it or anything like that. But at the same time, if that's what you're doing, then just own up to what the fuck you're doing. You're doing it for attention. You're not doing it because you like the person. You're not doing it because you want to date the person. You might not even be doing it because you want to sleep with the person. You're just doing it because you want attention.
Yeah.
And that's fine, but just fucking admit that shit. Like, don't sit up there and like waste somebody else's time and energy or whatever and like get mad because you don't get the response you want because somebody didn't fucking respond to your booty pic.
Yeah, amen to that. Yeah, we do live in an era where it's all about the likes and how many people are responding to you, and for me, that's not the point of going on dating apps.
No.
And it also might be like an age thing, where
okay, but we ain't like how like
I'm not saying that like we're old
We're
or
not.
anything like that, but I'm just saying that like there might be this like we're all in different like spaces, right, in our life where because I remember when I was young, I wasn't thinking about like having like a serious like relationship or like I was like out and having fun, and if I did meet someone and then that like casually like moved into a serious relationship, then yes, I was down for it. But I wasn't going on the apps to be like, oh, let me find someone that I can have like this real connection. And that might be what's happening with, some of the younger people that are on the app.
Like, how young you thinking?
I always refer to when I was like 25, from between like 25 to like 30, where I was just like, because before that I was just like, whatever, But when I was in that age, I was more like, okay, let me go out there and just like have fun and get attention and shit like that,
Yeah.
And then slowly I like grew out of it, and I'm like, okay, let me just get serious about like, introducing myself in a real way.
Yeah. You're always authentic. Like, I've never seen you be fake or anything like that. But as far as like age wise, like if you had to date somebody like now, like what's the bottom, like the floor for an age person?
I've always said 20, 25.
It's always going to be 25. So as you get older, it's always going to be 25.
No, I don't know, girl.
Well, I'm just like hypothetically, like you don't.
I'm sure that my age limit is gonna like go up. Like it's because I'm not gonna be like 45 and be like, oh yeah, 25. No,
daddy.
Yeah, right. I especially don't want someone to call me daddy.
Poppy.
Yeah. Okay, that. I'm just kidding. No.
Oh my god.
No.
I feel like I'm kind of more like in the 30 range.
Yeah.
Like, I need them to be at least 30. I need them to have like graduated from college, gotten some career time under their belt, got the partying, like hardcore partying every week, every weekend out of their system. Yeah. Even though there's bitches that are in 30, 31, 32, 33 that still do that shit, which is, I'm not like frowning upon it. Like, if you can do that and keep together, more power to you. I can't.
Right? It's pretty incredible when they can.
Yeah. Yeah. But I just need them to have lived through some shit, because I think like for me, I do put a lot of value on stability, and I need someone who will be in a stable state of mind.
Yeah.
And also stable financially, because I don't want to have to be like, could I take care of somebody? Yes. Would I if I have to? Yes. But I don't want to be forced to, if that makes sense. Because I can, you expect me to.
Yeah.
Versus like something happens and I have to do it, and that's different, you know?
Well, yeah, we talked about this like financial relationships, remember?
Oh, bitch.
Yeah.
And you told me to calm down.
Girl, calm down. Take it down a notch, girl.
Oh man, but I'm like passionate about that stuff because like
No.
I feel like there's a lot of communication that needs to go into shit like that. Okay, let's talk about it.
Well, seriously, I mean, it is a serious like issue
Yeah,
about like financial relationships.
yeah. No, but I mean, like, okay, reframe it. Like, what were we talking about
We were
before?
talking about how the people get in relationships for financial benefits.
Okay.
And not specifically one person taking care of the other, but like how like helping each other out just based on finances
Mhm.
and being in a relationship because it's convenient.
Right.
And
Not because they are
Not be-
compatible, not because they care,
yes.
but because it's easy financially.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, life is hard. Like, I get it.
Yes.
I do get it. Bills are expensive. You know, it's easier in a two-person household if you split everything down the middle, like the shit works.
And I mean that yeah, there is no shame in that game.
Mhm.
I'm not saying that. And obviously I'm talking about my personal my personal like way that I want a relationship, and it's not based on so I'm looking personally for a relationship that's not financially beneficial. That's not important to me. I mean, obviously, we all want to be successful, and we want the best for ourselves and our partners. And if financially there's stable and bring that to the table, wonderful. But I'm not basing my wants on having a relationship based on like financial benefits.
Yeah, me either. I feel like I'm kind of past that. I mean, when I was younger, I was like, oh, like I want him. He broke, you know. But as I've gotten older, I don't need you to have a ton of money. I need you to be able to take care of yourself. I don't need you to be able to take care of me. If it came down to it, yes. But I don't need you to be able to do that by default. Like, that's a hardship thing. It's not a requirement for us to date or
Yeah.
be together or anything like that. And I mean, honestly, I actually got more dates and like attraction like towards me when I was a hot mess. So when I didn't have money, when I was like drinking and partying every weekend, when like
Oh my god, same here.
yeah. And it's crazy, but I mean this has been told to me where and I'm not trying to fucking make myself sound like some fucking saint or some shit like that, but
Same.
I'm not like I still have a good time. I still do what I do, and it is what it is.
Yeah.
But I'm a lot more tactful and like mature about how I do shit, and I still know how to have a good time. But also, I'm not out every single day, every day, all day, drinking, sleeping with everybody, and all that shit because I'm more selective with my time and my energy. But back in the day, like I was a lot more reckless and I got a lot more attention from younger and older dudes by being so reckless.
Yeah. Because you were the fun one.
Right.
Right. And it's easy.
But they didn't want to keep me. They just wanted to give me attention and keep me around, but they didn't want to like be with me like that. But I did get
until they move on to the next one.
You're a placeholder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like bitch, I'm not an appetizer. What the fuck? Like
A
I'm
delicious one.
no, but I am like the freaking 4-course meal. You know, I'm like your
Yeah, especially the dessert.
shut up. Man. She does come with cake.
Oh my God. Well, I'm working on my cake. Girl.
Yeah. I mean, you kind of got like a pie a little bit.
What did you say? You guys be saying I got biscuits?
Yeah.
That's not even the joke.
They haven't risen yet,
Yeah.
you know?
Oh my god, there's a plot.
Yeah.
They're still in the oven.
Yeah, they're still, your biscuits are baking right now. Like they're getting along.
But they're gonna get fluffy.
Yeah.
You know, rise right
Oh
up.
God.
Delicious. Be asking for seconds.
No seconds or thirds. Butter. Jelly.
Right in between.
Jelly?
In between those plates.
Yeah. No, okay, but like as I've gotten older, and especially like when I moved to SAC, so like contrast. So when I was in SF, I moved there when I was 24. I left, I think, when I was like 30, 31. And from the time that I moved there, from the time that I moved out, like the amount of money that I made, it significantly increased. My body type definitely changed. Like my attitude about things changed. But when I had moved there, I remember the first person, I moved into an apartment. I had 2 roommates. So there's 3 of us living in a 3-bedroom, 2-bath apartment. I remember the first time I had sex in that apartment, bitch, it was like one of those like toxic, you know, like that stereotype of like somebody with the bed on the floor.
Oh yeah.
That was me. Like I didn't fucking have a bed frame or nothing. Like the shit was on the floor. Like we up here having sex with nothing in the room, just like a fucking mattress on the floor.
No one giving a shit.
Nobody gave a shit, but they thought that shit was hot. You know, it's like this like fantasy of the thing.
Yeah.
And so then now, like I'm older, you know, I've gotten my shit together. And then I moved
Acres on acres.
Acres, long acres, backyard with a yeah, and a small dog, yeah, yeah. But when I bought my house, and I remember when I would like go on dates with guys, and I remember when I first moved up here, I didn't have a lot of friends when I first like moved up here, and I was dating around. It was before I met you because I met you in the summer, and I moved up here in December.
2021.
Yes, this summer of 2021. But I moved in like January 1st, 2021. So like that first couple months, like I didn't really know a lot of people in the area, and I was like, okay, like on the apps that I'm meeting people and I'm dating and like having the sex and all that shit. Having the sex, yeah, all the sex,
doing the most.
But people would come over here and they're like, "Oh, you just moved here," and I'm like, "Yeah," and like, "Oh, you live here by yourself?" I'm like, "Yeah," and I'm like, I'm not trying to like floss or like throw it in anybody's face. Like, I'm just doing. I didn't do that for nobody else. I did it for me.
Yeah.
And so then it became one of those things where people were like intimidated by it, you know, where they're like, "Oh, I can't measure up to yada yada yada." Yeah, and I'm like, I'm not trying to make nobody feel bad about, you know, like
where they're at.
Yeah, and it's not a competition, and so I'm like, okay, so now this is a factor. Like, it's like, why does every little thing have to be a factor? Like with dating, where people get, you know, bothered by this person has more than this other person, or people latch on because somebody has more than them. They're like, oh, you know,
financially benefit.
Right? It's like, oh, well, they have all this a house and they make all this money and like whatever, so I'm gonna latch on, or like, oh, I don't want to date them because they are gonna expect me to measure up to that. I'm like, no, like I want you to be able to take care of yourself. I can take care of myself. We can take care of each other if we need to, and like grow together and like become something together. But I don't need somebody to like
make you feel bad about your success. We want to. I want a cheerleader.
Yeah,
I also want to be like, yeah, good for you. Look at you, what you're doing.
If I'm real about it, like I used to say this all the time, and I mean I haven't said it in a while. I want somebody that I can take over the world with. Like,
right? Let's support each other.
Yes.
Let's see what we can build together.
Yes. I want us to be up here as a team, and we are cheering each other on. And if I can't give 100% that day and I can only give 80, can you give me another 20%? You know what I'm saying? Like if you can't do, you know,
or understand why you can't do that.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. That's good. Good. I'm glad that you realize that you can't do it. You do you. I'll take care of this. Know, whatever. You know, it doesn't have to be this like, well, I'm doing this. Why can't you do that?
Right.
You know?
Right. It's not a comparison. It's not a competition. And I've never thought of it that way.
And I mean, girl, we might be reaching for the stars, but like, you know, it's why not?
Yeah.
Why not ask for that?
Yeah.
Everybody's asking like, oh, I want my man to drive this and that, or like blah blah blah. It's like, no, we're just asking for some like understanding.
Right. That's it.
Some responsibility.
That's it.
You know, not not being judgy.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I mean, that's all I'm asking for. I don't feel like I'm asking for too much. I mean, I know that I'm not asking for too much to be like, I've gone over it over and over in my head like so many times of, is this like causing the problem? Like, is the expectation causing the problem? And the expectation is, it's not me projecting the expectation on a person of like, you need to be able to do this. It's just one thing: be able to take care of yourself and just care about me, and that's it. Like, I don't need you to provide anything else other than emotional support and affection and good times, and let's just take over the world.
Yeah. I mean, I've always said I just want you to love me for me,
Mm-hmm.
and that's all that I ask for.
Yeah.
You know, because like it could be. I've been in situations with my past, like I wouldn't call them boyfriends because they didn't.
It didn't materialize.
It didn't flourish, and it didn't last that long.
Yeah.
So there were, you know, I still when I see them, I still say hi. You know, like I'm that person.
Right. You're
Um,
nicer than me.
but they were always like wanting more from me, wanting something else,
Like what?
wanting me to be somebody else, and I'm like, but I'm not that person.
But what you mean by that?
Or like, you know, like me having bigger dreams,
Okay.
or like making more money,
Okay.
or oh, you're at this age, like why aren't you thinking about buying a house, or like, you know, just like things that they wanted their partner to be. And I'm like, but that's not me. I'm
Yeah.
not at that stage, you know.
Yeah.
Like, respect who I am now
Right.
and let me flourish into who I'm gonna be as the years come. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like you're. I mean, I mean this in the best way. Like, you're a simple person in the way that like you don't require a lot. Like,
And I sure don't.
you're very. How do I put it? Like, you're very kind of a minimalist, I guess I could say.
I mean, I think it comes from like me knowing that I can take care of myself.
Yeah, but
And
you don't need a lot. Like, I feel like from getting to know you, you don't need a lot of things. Like, it's
oh,
like you're not a materialistic person or anything like that. And you just seem like small things can make you happy. And I think like it's you would be the kind of person that somebody could be with easily, in the sense that you're not going to cause them problems or be jealous of things that they have, because your brain doesn't work like that. Your brain and your heart doesn't work like that, you know? And so when somebody's like, oh, you need to have bigger dreams, I'm curious, like, how big are their dreams, and are they comparing you to them?
yeah. And I mean, in a way, I believe that maybe it was, you know, them wanting for me to be at that like level of what their maybe materialistic way of thinking. Eh, And yes, you're right. You know, I, I don't put that much energy into having a lot of things.
Uh-huh.
Those are not important things for me. Um, so it's a little difficult, you know, to find people that just respect you for who you are and not wanting change, you know.
Yeah.
And I think that's for me, that's always been like a valid reason why I've been so cautious about like who I date, who I say yes to, who I put my whole self to, because I don't want to change for you. I want to change for myself, to improve like a relationship, you know,
Uh-huh.
not to just make you happy.
Right. No, I mean, I agree with you. Um, I don't know. I find it interesting that people, they project a lot of shit on other people. I think, but on the other side of things is what I think this is honestly worse. There are people who, and I think this is the whole point. Like we brought up this part of the conversation is that there are people who cannot take care of themselves, so they get with somebody who will take care of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I mean there are personalities like that where it's like, they need that support system. They need that another person to allow them to just like fail and have someone to pick them back up or whatever, you know.
Can I ask you a question?
Of course.
Okay, because this I feel like this is one of those topics, and I have my answer, but I'm just curious.
Do
What
I have an answer?
would you sign a prenup?
I wouldn't,
Okay, why?
because I don't care. Like I don't like. For me, the way that I love is like financially. Like that's not how I love.
Okay.
Like if my partner at the end of the day when it doesn't work out and we have to split up because of, you know, we're taking different roads and whatever, and they're like, oh well, I deserve all of this. I'm like, well then fucking take it, because I know that I can take care of myself. And all this like shit that we have, that doesn't mean anything to me. So that's like the last thing that I'm thinking about.
Okay. So if you were with someone and they asked you to sign a prenup, you wouldn't sign it. Like if they like say they had, I don't know, let's say like they make twice as much money as you or something. And it's just that they're saying, the textbook thing of just like, like I just feel like to protect finances or whatever. And it's not sexy. Like prenups are not sexy, but if
Okay,
they
well,
suggested it, you wouldn't sign it.
I guess I'm coming from a perspective of like me introducing the prenup.
Okay, okay. But if they
But
did,
if they did and that's important to them,
yeah.
I would sign it.
Okay, but you would never introduce
But
it.
I would never introduce
I,
it.
see, we're the reverse.
There's difference.
Yeah, I would. So if I get married, let's reframe the thinking. When I get married,
When you get married,
because yes, he's
yeah, I already
coming.
have that date.
Yeah, yeah. He's coming. He's on his way.
Yeah.
He might be on like Mars or something like that. He's on his way.
He lost track of
Yeah,
where he was going.
yeah. He's got a little lost. He's just,
There,
yeah. He's
a
yeah.
little staticky up there.
I definitely want one. I definitely want one. Like, I feel like I've gotten to a point where I work really hard to be able to take care of myself. I don't consider myself a materialistic person, but I do enjoy like going on trips and like doing nice things and being, and I've seen so many friends that have gotten married and gotten divorced and how messy it gets, and people get so wrapped up in like being vindictive with each other, like, which is crazy because you see how in love people are and like how much they're spending time together and how much they love on each other, and then how over the years that can flip to something else.
Yeah.
And it's sad to see.
And it's strange. To me it's so fucking strange. For to flip to the other side so like without any thought.
Mm-hmm.
With just like, oh, it's done, and all of a sudden you're just like mad and like
Angry, frustrated,
and
pissed.
the love that you had for this person is all of a sudden just like gone. To me that's really strange.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. Like, where does the love go?
Yeah, exactly. What's that song?
Where's the love? Is it the Black Eyed Peas or something?
Oh no,
Like,
not that. Oh girl, no, we don't talk about.
What's love got to do with it?
No.
What song are you talking about?
No, okay, never mind. It's another song, but I can't think of it.
Oh my god. Yeah, that's something that I thought about. I didn't really think about it until when I bought my house, my dad like came over and he's like, "Oh, like, yeah, like you got it before, like you met anybody or whatever, you got with anybody, so like it's yours." And I'm thinking like, no, I think California, which I was like, I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure California is like a common law.
Oh, I think it is
State or something like that. So like if you have it then they can get half of it. And I was like, fuck that. Like, I want to get a prenup because like I feel like I worked really hard for the shit that I got. So I want to be able to protect what I have because I know I've seen it happen where people just get real bitchy about shit like that. And I know it's not a sexy thing to talk about, but I do know that most of the time when people break up, it's over fucking money.
Yeah.
You know, like it's like somebody doesn't want to work, somebody's not paying a bill, somebody's hiding money, somebody's sleeping with somebody else or paying somebody else or whatever the fuck. And I'm just like, okay, well, at least I know like if we got together and let's say like we go move into like a bigger house or whatever it is, and we break up, at least I can come back and bring myself back to my house that I worked hard for, you know?
Yeah.
And
I mean, maybe I'm just like a helpless romantic.
you are, but there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. Like that's why like I'm glad that you clarified because I was like, you know, if you don't care, then like why wouldn't you sign it? But like you're saying that if you wouldn't introduce one, but if somebody did introduce one, then you would be fine with signing it because you don't care.
Yeah, and I mean, and I think that also just like shows your partner like a respect and a support of like what matters to them.
Mm-hmm.
And if that's what matters to them, then
Right.
yes, you know, I don't want to be a partner where I stand between their strong beliefs or their dreams or aspirations or whatever. You know, I want to be supportive in any way.
Yeah.
And if that means that if that happens where we split up because, you know, spending all your life with someone, that's all. I mean, depending on how long you live, it's a really long fucking time.
It is a long
People
time.
fucking change.
Yeah.
You know, and I know that I understand that. I know that's a reality that can happen. And if that's important to them, let that be.
Yeah.
And I'm coming from a place where I know that I can stand my ground and and be able to pick myself up, even if I start from nothing, because I have done it many times.
Yeah.
And it doesn't scare me. It's just a self belief, you know, at the end of the day, I guess.
That whole not being scared of things because you've already been through shit and you picked yourself up before, that's some real shit.
I mean, I feel like some people might forget that, but we all have gone through shit. We have all picked ourselves up, right?
Yeah.
But like maybe we just like forgot about it and forgot how we did it. And we always say like, "Oh, we learn from our mistakes. We learn from our past."
But do we
But do
really?
we really, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's another thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that's probably why I ended up like going back to therapy or whatever because they constantly remind like they know all your business so they fucking constantly remind you of, like, well, you already been through blah, 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 and this is how you handle it. And I'm like, yeah, you right,
Yeah, you're right.
you right. I can handle that, and I think that's why with the rejection stuff, like I'm not afraid of getting rejected. I'm not when I date, like I'm not afraid of it not working out.
Yeah.
You know, what I am afraid of though is wasting money on dating apps. Like because they have all everything's
I
like
have never paid for any of the
bitch.
apps, ever.
Listen,
And I will never.
listen. I have paid for I have stopped, and I'll tell you why. So I started to pay for the premium or whatever for like I forget what it's called, but like Tinder, whatever it is, they have like some paid things, and then they Hinge or whatever. And so like you can buy it for like a day, you can buy it for a week, you can buy it for a month, or you can buy it for months, like 3 6 a month a year.
Yeah.
And I paid like probably like only for like a month at a time, but I stopped because it's a scam. It is a fucking scam. Listen,
I'm listening, girl.
listen, it is a scam, and I'm gonna tell you why. It's a scam because you go on these apps like to meet people, right? And so like you may be a person of a particular age, whether you're younger or whether you're a little bit older. And then if you're gay or if you're queer, like LGBTQ in some way, where there's more complications with dating because like sexual positions get involved. So then what they do is they hide all the filters for that stuff behind a paywall. So now if you want to find single people on certain apps, because there's people that are in relationships with people that are married, whatever, and anybody can sign up for these apps and they have like all the different relationship types on there. But there are some apps that make you pay to filter out the people that are in relationships. And I'm like, why? I'm looking for somebody that's single. You know, like I'm looking for somebody that's single, but you're making me pay for that because, and well, I'm not gonna sit here and have to shift through who is actually available and who's not.
Yeah.
So then they make you pay for that. And then if there's like other filters or whatever, I wish I could look it up right now. But there's other ones that they make you pay for that really help you actually find somebody that you're more interested in, and it's just based on certain criteria, and so it's annoying. It's
And it's a waste of time.
it's a scam. It's a scam. A
It's a
scam.
scam.
Yeah,
It's a scam that you
yeah. It's
keep
a
on
you
keep
picking.
on picking.
Yeah, it's a fucking scam. Yeah, I don't appreciate that shit. So I haven't paid for them in a while, and I don't plan on doing it again. And I can't remember the last time that I did because of that. It's just like annoying that they hide stuff behind paywalls. I did pay for Grinder though because I had like their albums or whatever. They like multiple albums, and I was like, no, my pictures are kind of hot right now. I need more room for my pictures.
Oh, okay.
So I did do
She's
that.
feeling herself.
Yeah, but that shit's like everything's canceled right now. I'm not trying to pay for anything. And I know people pay for premiums on shit too because they be hiding their profiles. They ain't say no names. But people they
Text them to me.
that
Yeah, who the fuck are these people?
they don't want to be seen, and I'm like, well, bitch, didn't get off Grinder. Like you go incognito on apps because you don't want people to see that you're on an app. I'm like,
Also, what the fuck is that?
it's incognito.
Yeah. No, I know what that is.
Like, bitch, let me get the dictionary.
No, but what's the reason behind it? Like
Of
why?
hiding?
Yeah, why would you do that?
Because you don't want people to see you.
But isn't that the whole point?
So it's one of those picky bitch things. So then like you hide your profile so people can't see you, but you can see everybody else.
Oh my god, it's the
So-
whole Sex in the City.
Yeah.
Like that. She can see me.
Yeah.
But
I can't see her.
So stupid.
It's so fucking stupid. But people do that shit because they're picky or whatever, or they're hiding because they don't want people that they know to see that they're on an app. So they only reach out to people that they are interested in, and they hide the profile from everybody else. And I was like, okay, well, that's a lot to deal with too. And I would never pay for that just for that function. Typically, I'm doing it because I'm trying to find some other shit. I'm pretty sure Scruff makes you pay for like a lot of shit, just to like simple stuff. Like if you want only single people, you got to pay for it. If you want sex positions, like or like want to know who's a top or a bottom or whatever, you have to pay for it. Like you can't just get it on the base version, which is bullshit.
This is all new to me.
That's fucking. But the thing is that not required information for you to like?
Yeah, it is required as like also required information is like what you told me when I had Grinder when I was like, well, I haven't gotten any messages.
Yeah.
And it's been like a month or whatever. It's like, well, have you been on it? And I'm like, no.
Because your profile disappears.
You have to like log on.
Yeah. They stop showing your profile if you don't sign in.
I have no idea.
Girl,
But like
yeah, I mean, whatever. I tried last year I tried eHarmony.
okay, I mean I know eHarmony, but
Yeah.
I don't know what the difference is.
Bitch, it was supposed to be like it's hella expensive. Don't do it. I don't recommend it. Yeah, I don't recommend anybody like signing up for eHarmony because the shit's hella expensive.
Obviously, this podcast is not sponsored by eHarmony.
No, it's not. It's not sponsored by eHarmony. Like they are not paying me. I gave them a lot of money for a fucking year of subscription that I only use for like 30 minutes. But they make you pay for a whole year. So there are no other like paid like lengths. Like so you can't do like a month or 2 months or whatever. You have to pay for a whole year.
Okay.
And no wonder y'all still in business because ain't nobody using this shit. But if they do use it, they gotta fucking pay for the whole year. And they let you break your payments up into like 4 or 6 payments or whatever.
Okay.
And but the thing is, I think it's more tailored for straight people because when I went on it, there are gay guys on there. There's some cute guys on there, but they tend to be a lot further away. And so like 100+ miles.
Oh, so they don't. So like the app doesn't show single people around your
No, so
area.
eHarmony, everybody on there, it's everybody on there is single.
Yes.
I've never ran into anything that where somebody was in a relationship on eHarmony.
Okay.
But what I did find is that most people are significantly far away. So locally,
Uh huh.
I only found a couple of guys, like I went, let's say 10. I was only attracted to maybe two or three of them.
Okay.
Maybe you might get a response, maybe you won't get a response.
Okay.
If you go further than that, then maybe people don't respond because you are too far. They want somebody closer. So I think it's maybe
Interesting.
location based. Like maybe if I lived in like LA or something, then maybe I would get more hits, or like have more profiles around me or something like that. But like even there, San Francisco doesn't have a ton, and so I think the app is like more tailored
That's
for straight
strange.
people.
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, or more popular with straight people
Uh
versus
huh.
like queer people. So
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense.
yeah,
Yeah. Why there's not that many pop ups of queer people.
yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, I was like, let me try something different, and
Yeah.
so I gave it a try. I did meet a guy on there though, and we dated for a little while,
Okay.
but we just didn't have, which is frustrating. But we just didn't have like chemistry. We got along fine, but it was more a friends with benefits thing. It wasn't. There was no other connection.
Ooh, that's a good. That's like. Let me ask you this because I'm in this like space with a man that I just met,
Okay,
and like how like well how would you define like that like chemistry like
for what friends with
for
benefits?
friends with benefit, like the difference between like oh a romantic chemistry or a friend with benefit chemistry or just like oh you're just a friend kind of chemistry, like
I think there's a difference between.
or maybe let me rephrase it. How
Okay,
did you realize that there was like not an attraction, I guess, or like compatible,
yeah,
and just like okay, we're just chill with each other.
there was like a lack of intimacy. And when I say that, I'm not talking about sexual intimacy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about like vulnerability. I'm talking about like verbal connections with communication and opening up and things like that. And I think when you're friends with somebody, you can open up to some friends. I believe in levels of friendships. So, there are certain people who are have a higher capacity for emotional connection as a friend, and then there are people that have less, but they doesn't mean that they're not your friend. They can still be your friend, but they just don't have that capacity for that. With this particular guy, it was that he the sexual connection was there, like and the sex was good and all that. But when we would talk about things, he was very dismissive and didn't want to like open up like vulnerably. And
I see.
so
Okay.
I think as far as emotional intimacy, it was not there. And I think for a relationship, you need the sexual intimacy and the emotional intimacy, and it wasn't there, at least for me.
I
And it
see.
wasn't there. And I think with a friend, if you don't have sexual intimacy, like there can be emotional intimacy, but also emotional vulnerability that you can have with some friends. But I think that there's levels to it. It doesn't need to be like I don't tell every single friend all of my business.
True.
You and I have been close, and you know a lot of my business, but there are other people who are my friends that don't know as much, and they don't need to know as much because we are not in a space where I feel like that they can entertain that information, and it's fine. Like I don't need every single friend to be that way, but you need to recognize what kind of friends you talking to, just like you need to recognize what kind of person that you're going on dates with. And so I just felt like long term it wasn't going to work because we went on a trip to San Francisco. Um, that was like the only time where we spent like multiple days like together to just like disconnect from all the other shit, and we tried to like have conversations and things like that, and everything was just so surface. It was like so surface. It was like surface level and like fuck me. And I'm like,
Uh,
bro, like this is literally I could do this with a friends with benefits. Like we are not connecting on a emotional level. This isn't gonna work as a relationship. Could it work as a friends with benefits thing? Probably.
yeah.
But is it gonna work as like a relationship or for me the type of relationship that I'm looking for? No, absolutely not. So does that answer the question?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's very clear of like the differences.
Yeah.
the connections that you can have with certain people. And yeah, I mean, it's true. Whenever you do have like some kind of emotional connection with someone, it can slowly lean into friendships
Yeah.
or a romantic relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Because then, like, it can develop these like maybe even like that vulnerability can develop into like, oh my god, that's that's so attractive that you can trust me with these things that you're sharing,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
it creates this attraction towards.
And that's exactly what I'm saying. Like people grow into that. Like some people start as friends and they ended up dating or getting together and things like that because they've grown together emotionally to a point where, and fucking some people might disagree with this, but I feel like that there is a certain level of emotional intimacy where it will become sexual intimacy because the shit becomes attractive, and that's what I'm looking for is for somebody to like stimulate my mind because I find the banter, I find it like intellectual conversations hot. Like I find people being able to challenge me attractive. Um, and if I can't, you know,
Yeah.
feel that with you, then unfortunately it might not work out. But in a way that's not disrespectful. Don't be disrespectful.
No, we all have to respect our we have to respect each other for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, sweetie.
Can we take a break? I
Yeah.
had to pee really bad.
Yeah. Okay. Do you feel better? You peed.
Oh yeah. Oh my god. What a release. Ooh, 20 pounds later.
That's a lot of liquid.
Oh, I almost drank the whole bottle
Oh yeah, we've been
of
drinking
wine.
Yeah, we've been drinking wine.
Imagine.
Yeah, you gotta tell people that it was wine.
Yeah,
It was like not fucking tequila or something else.
no. Oh, because I'm Mexican.
No, well, what the fuck? Oh, but you like vodka though.
Yes, I'm
Yeah,
a vodka soda, splash of cran,
yeah. A Rose Kennedy.
a Rose Kennedy.
Yeah.
That's my girl.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm that girl.
What's up, sweetie?
Yes, sweetie,
Yeah,
my darling,
my darling, my honey,
my everything.
my sugar.
It just sounds that we're in love now.
I have a question for you because you've been in more longer term relationships than I've been in.
True.
And I don't have experience with like open relationships or anything like that. And so I'm curious, like, do you have a preference for one or the other, like a close relationship or like some type of combination of the two? Or what does that look like for you? Because I have like my own ideas in my head, but I'm like curious from your because you've actually done it and I haven't. So
Yeah. I mean, well, my perspectives are from like when my first long-term relationship started when I was 19.
Okay.
And it ended around 24, 25, something like that. And I mean, we've all been that age, especially in the gay community.
Young and dumb.
Young
full
and
of
dumb.
cum.
In that part. And everyone is attracted to you. And you're attracted to everybody. So naturally, I think the open relationship kind of just like sneaks in there, even though it might not be this like sit down conversation with like your partner. It's just like a thing that happens where it develops of like, oh, how much power do you give that situation to, you know? So I mean, I think it really depends on like what kind of relationship you want and where you stand with your partner and how open you are with it. And if it does come down to like having an open relationship, what conversations are you having about it and how honest are you being about it? And because I think like I mean, like I said, being honest is like a really great way to have a relationship. Um, if I'm talking about now in my what I want now, I don't want an open relationship. I want a committed relationship that involves me and my partner growing and building something together. Um, and that doesn't mean that like I'm not being dismissive of like open relationships not having that. Not at all. Um, I I'm just, personally, obviously it's me. It's my thoughts
It's your choice.
yeah, it's my choice and that's what I want and um it it was fun when I was doing it in my earlier relationships because like that was fun and dumb and full of cum.
Yeah.
um but yeah, I mean like, whatever I think whatever works for relationships is like what's valid.
Yeah.
And there's no right or wrong way of doing any kind of relationship.
Yeah, I think that's pretty fair. Everybody has their own dynamic of what works for them. Although I will say some people do not respect the boundaries of their relationship, and that doesn't mean like I'm not just talking about like open relationships. I'm talking about like even monogamous relationships. Everybody has like boundaries, things that they will put up with, things that they will not put up with, and sometimes people do not respect those boundaries, or maybe they get too much leeway to do certain things and they break the rules.
Yeah.
I'm not like where I'm at right now. I'm not opposed to an open relationship, but I will not do it unless there is a very strong foundation. And I think that I have seen times in recent years where people who have not wanted them have been pushed into having them because they don't want to be single and their partner wants it, so they do it to
Oh,
go along to get along.
yeah.
And I
Yeah.
don't think that shit works.
Yeah. I mean, like that's I mean, it's a little like it's a little selfish in a way because you're asking your partner to just like do something that you want, and you're not thinking of like the emotional like effects that is are happening to your partner.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, what do I want? Oh, I want dick and like or ass or side or whatever the fuck
But
you're into,
yeah. Yeah.
and you're not like you're not being responsible of like a relationship.
Yeah.
And which could, I mean, again, communication is like a really great way to I'm not a therapist,
Mhm.
I
But you have relationship
but I
experience.
have relationship experience and I think like being honest and being upfront with like what you want is is the best way. And I know that it's scary. It's fucking like, oh well, what if like this person like my partner doesn't want this, like I'm presenting this situation where it can change our dynamic. But I mean, it also can build your dynamic into this better like understanding of who you are, you know? And it could be like a way of like knowing that person a little bit better. And maybe you have to take a break. Maybe that's the way it leads into.
Mhm.
And that's fine. But like I feel like sometimes we give sex so much power, you know? And it like there's people that like I mean, okay, I don't want to like categorize because that's like crazy, right? Um but sometimes like we give sex so much power where it like takes over our
Oh,
personality
for sure.
or like what we are, what we want, all this shit,
100%.
and then it can like kind of diminish like the the meaningful relationship that we have.
Yeah.
Um and being for me like being honest with like your partner, it definitely like builds a stronger connection and a more understanding. And like I said, maybe it leads into taking a break, but that's okay.
Yeah.
You
I mean, the
know?
road is not gonna be smooth all the time.
Yeah. And it
Yeah.
doesn't mean that you have to take a break from like each other emotionally. It can just be like a sexual thing.
Yeah.
And then just like having understanding that that's like what that person wants, or if it doesn't, if it's emotionally too hurtful for the other person, also having that understanding. I think it's just like a balance, you know, and every relationship is different. We all come from like different um emotional backgrounds, sexual backgrounds. More people are more horny than others.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Uh-huh. I mean, like I said, I've been horny. But that doesn't mean that I'm like going around and having all the fucking sex,
The
you know.
sex. Yeah.
The sex.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's a tricky situation, especially when you're not honest with yourself or your partner.
Yeah. Well, how did it develop? So, like for you, it started monogamous and it became open.
Yes.
Okay, and
Yes.
then like, so was it a conversation or like what?
It didn't start as a conversation. It just developed
Okay.
because we both were, I think we hit a point where we were both young. We were both trying to figure out like who we were, but still being supportive with each other.
Okay.
Um, and then going out, you know, and meeting men, and you know, being young and gay and like experiencing all of like the new things,
Mm-hmm.
um and also being fresh meat is a fucking thing, right? You know, it happens all the fucking time.
Yeah.
Wherever you fucking go, you go on vacation, you're fucking fresh meat.
A new
Everybody
person,
wants
new
it.
city.
Yeah, exactly. So, all of the things, you know, and then it just like it developed into this situation where it was, oh, okay. Like if I don't see you at the end of the night, I know that you went with somebody.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, we have the relationship and we're going to continue that relationship.
Mm-hmm.
You know, um personally, the reason why that specific relationship didn't work out was because we both wanted different things and for our future.
That happens too. You said from 19 to 20 something, like you
Yeah.
grow up and
Yeah.
your perspectives on things change. And so then if you guys aren't growing together, then the only other option is you grow apart. That happens with friendships too, though. So it's not any surprise that that happens. It happens to a lot of people.
Um and to give credit to every single relationship that has like an open relationship and they found a way to make it work, kudos, you know. Um yeah, it's difficult like any other relationship. There's just like more I think there's just more reasons to be open about your feelings.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll see what I end up with.
Uh,
We will see what I end up with. I've just like thought about it, and I haven't been like in a situation where I've gotten close to a relationship. I think the closest almost 2 years ago now. So yeah, I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see.
the future will tell.
Next time on JoJo's Tragic Dating Life.
Oh my god, shut up. Stupid.
Insert the tragic music.
No, more like dun dun dun.
Yeah. Dun, dun, dun.
Girl. No, but have you been in an open relationship?
No,
Never?
no.
Have,
So when I was dating, they were not as common, or like talked about. I don't want to say they weren't happening
girl,
because I
that
feel
was
like
7 years ago.
no, but well, almost 8. So I feel like they were just becoming a thing
Okay.
or being more openly discussed.
Mm.
That wasn't what 2017. Like I feel like when we got together in 2017, like when I think back then, I probably only know like one, maybe two couples that were outwardly open at the time. Now, like I don't even have enough fingers to count all the couples that I know that are outwardly open.
Yeah.
And so I think it was more of like a taboo or a concern of like the optics, what will people think about that, and the perceptions, what will people say? And now people don't give a fuck, which I can appreciate not giving a fuck about what people say.
Yeah.
But back then, yeah, I've never been in an open relationship, and I don't think I was ready to be in one then. I was too, honestly, stupid. I was too stupid. I was an attention whore. I ate the attention up, and yeah. So, and then like I neglected other things. Like I think like I've come to terms with like what I did wrong.
Yeah.
Nothing. I feel like nothing is never one person's fault. There's always like some shared blame, but I'm very aware of like what I did wrong. So, and I learn. You learn from it, and then you have mental breakdowns, and then you go to therapy, and then 7 years pass, and then you're sitting here like not putting up with the shit, but you enjoy your own company, and you're okay with that, and hopefully somebody comes along that can appreciate that, and we can take over the world. So I'm just waiting for it patiently.
I mean, cheers to that.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. All right, sweetie, I think we should wrap up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I really enjoyed having this conversation with you.
Me too.
It was, so much fun.
Yeah.
Kiki with the girl.
Yeah, we should do it again.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, if you're listening to this and you enjoyed our conversation with Fernando, please let us know, and I'm sure he'll be back.
And my number, I'm just kidding.
My friend is fine as hell, so if you are looking for a beautiful Mexican man, then hit him up. And there you have it, folks. Dating can be very complicated in 2025, so we just do what we can with what we have. Hope you enjoyed the episode. If you did, please share it with somebody that you think might need to hear it. And as always, stay Black, stay queer, and if you're neither, stay unapologetic. Bye.